Who am I speaking with?
I'm John Hagel. I'm co-chairman of the Deloitte Center for the Edge in Silicon Valley.
And you just gave a presentation on why we are losing the war on talent. Give me the headline. Why are we losing this war?
I think it's because overall we're not focused sufficiently on talent development, other than in the context of education or training programs, which, not to diminish their importance, are just part of the question. I think the real issue is, if you're really serious about developing talent, how do you do that in the day-to-day work environment? Because that's where most of the learning, the real learning, occurs.
Have you seen examples where you're really impressed, like these guys are winning the war on talent?
You know, there are bits and pieces in terms of the answer. I think the way I framed the talk was actually more around questions, because I don't think anybody has really got the answer at this point.
Well, I understand, and I know. I mean, that was your opening line: more questions and less answers. But I'm driving for maybe just a discussion here of where do you see a positive direction in terms of, rather than it's all hopeless, give up.
No, it's certainly not hopeless. There are a lot of companies that have elements. Actually, I think that, interestingly, the companies that we think have the most robust approaches to talent development are actually over in China and India. So if you look at companies like Li and Feng in the apparel business, they're working with a global network of 15,000 business partners, and they're very focused on developing the talent, not just of their own employees, but of their whole network of partners.
And how do they do that? Why you're impressed by them?
A lot of it has to do with the focus on how you build trust-based relationships, and the question of how you take the diverse learning that each of the partners have and make it available in a more scalable way to all the other partners. So part of it is, again, going beyond the four walls of the enterprise and saying we can learn a lot actually from our business partners, but also the notion that the business partners can learn from each other as well, and there's a mutual benefit that accrues.
Well, as you know, Dice is a tech recruiting marketplace, and we're always looking for, I guess, better ways to win the talent war because everyone is on both sides is trying to do this. Um, I mean, is there something in the online space or in terms of training, in terms of connecting that you've seen is done better?
Well, I think that what's happening is there are a lot of environments emerging online where people, particularly who are independent contractors, can come together and learn from each other. There are some companies, again, early stage examples.
Feel free to use examples.
SAP, which I talked about briefly, has a very interesting software developer network where they've got over 2 million participants that are learning very rapidly from each other. There's another company called LiveOps, which is running call centers, but they actually, all their employees, all the people that are part of their service are contractors who work from their home. And they've focused a lot on how you can develop tools for these people who are isolated in their home and can't come into a central facility to learn from each other. They've got performance dashboards, they've got discussion forums where people can come together and address the problems they're wrestling with in their day-to-day jobs. So it's a very rich environment for talent development.
Excellent, John. Thanks so much for your time.
Pleasure.